Hello, how are you? This is Els coming from Bemis Crafty Corner, and this is today's project. Kind of the ongoing thing in our ephemera series. So, this is stinking cute. I'm just using a paper clip to hold it closed, but it's basically like a little journaling card kind of thing. And when you open it up, it's got two pockets with you can put little journaling cards in there or tuck notes in. And then it has a nice big pocket over here with a journaling card that sits down in there so it's not poking out, And, I did it this way, but you can always put white on here or, something else, a solid color that you can journal on. It's absolutely up to you. And I just used a little paper clip to kind of hold it all together because, well, it seemed like a smart thing to do at the time. So this is what we're going to do today. Pretty quick and easy. You can make two of these out of a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock. And as far as the decorations, the pieces are very small on this one. I think the largest piece is like just over 3.5 inches. So you can use scraps for this one, or you can use a 6x6 pad. Works really good. And it's just the right size. The images and everything are just the right size. So I'm going to go ahead and back the camera up, clear off my desk, get out all of our supplies, and I will be back with a list of things we're going to need for this one, and then we'll get into it. I'll be right back. Let's take a look at what we need for this one. Adhesive. Check. Scissors. Could be handy. Dauber and ink. Absolutely. Scoring tools. A paper pad that we want to use. I do recommend paper on this one, or thin cardstock, nothing big and bulky. And then one piece of 12 by 12 that you've cut in half to 6 by 12. Okay? So we're going to start with our scoring, and for this we're going to score at 2 inches on the short side. Then we're going to turn this and put the long edge into the trimmer, into the scoreboard. We're going to score at 3, 6, and 9. Okay? So that's it for our scoring. We can get rid of that. And then we're going to move on to doing our folds. So we're going to do our folds, and we are going to burnish them. Nice and even. There we go. Make sure that we get this nice and even. Okay. And then these. And we're making sure that we get it lined up top and bottom. Alright, so now, with the whole project sitting in front of us, the first thing we're going to do is get rid of this. Okay? So we are going to cut right at that score line. To the second score line. And then just to the right of that score line. Just like barely to the right of it. That part goes bye-bye, okay? Then we're going to take this piece, fold it in half, and we are going to take a very scant wedge from the outside edge to the score line. That's the whole thing opened up, okay? All right. That is it for all of, that type of stuff. We're going to make one more cut here. And this one's just kind of an eyeball thing. This side right here needs to be just a scant. It just needs to be shaved. Like this. Okay? I think it's like a 32nd of an inch. Alright, that's it for that. I'm going to get rid of my scoring tools and everything and get rid of all of these little pieces. And I'll be back to show you what we're going to do next. I'll be right back. Alright, so the next thing is we need to cut some mats for this. We're going to need to do some inking, and if you want to put a finger nip in, we're going to get that done as well. So, let's see what we have. You... This is interesting. The blue is interesting. And I like this green. Alright, we can always get more. Alrighty. So I'm thinking, alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start cutting some mats. Where did I put my... Where it belongs. Amazing that I do that from time to time, right? Alright, so let's take this out so we can look. So we need to have a piece for here, here, these two pockets when they come up. We're going to need covers for these, and then we're going to need something for over here on this piece, okay? And then for the outside panels. So let's get started. We'll do the pockets first. So for the pockets, we're going to want to cut a piece that is 1 3/4 by 2.5. So we'll go 2.5, and then 1 3/4, and then another 1 3/4. Okay. And these are the pieces that'll go right here. So that's our first two pieces. Now we need pieces for the back. Now because this comes up, we obviously don't need to, you know, do the whole thing. Let's reduce some of the bulk here. So for this one, the pocket itself is 4 inches tall, and this comes up 2 inches. So realistically, we could cut a piece that is 2.5 by 2.5. We'll do it. So I'm going to cut a 2.5 inch strip from this. And then we'll go 2.5 by 2.5. I told you, you guys could use scraps for this. These are tiny pieces. Alright, 2.5 by 2.5, that's our two back pieces. And then we're going to cut a piece for this. Now, we have to decide, we have a decision to make. So this is going to be back here. This is going to be right here. What do we want this to be? Do we want it to be that blue? Do we want it to be this green or the polka dot? Or do we want it to be something entirely different? It's entirely up to you. I think, for me, I'm going to do it this green. So this piece is 4 inches tall by 3 inches wide. So this one here is going to be 3 3 3/4, sorry, 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. So three and 3/4 by 2 3/4, and we're going to check the fit. Perfect. And we're going to cut all of these, and these are going to be 3 by 4. So all of these are going to be 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. 2 3/4, and then I'm going to cut the last one out of the polka dots. 3 3/4, 2 3/4. Okay. Let me get all of the cuttings out of the way. Just put them in there for now. And put a rubber band on that. Out of the way. Okay, so now there are a few things that we need to take a look at. One, did we cut this straight? If not, you can see that mine's a little bit off. Just trim it with your scissors. Okay, so that's thing one. The next thing to address is the nip for the pocket here, which for us is this piece. And if you're going to put the nip in, then center this, your piece that goes here, and then take your nip, and that way, when you put this on, it lines up. Okay? Let me get this out of the way. Alright, then, next question. Do you want to have a small piece in here so that when you pull the tag out, you still see something here? That's a question. If you do, just use one of your scraps and just put it right through here, and it'll just fill in that spot, okay? Now, to round or not to round, that is the question. If you're going to round your corners, you need to do that now. And you need to decide what corners you're going to round. I like the squareness of it, so I'm not going to round anything other than my mats. I am going to round my mats just using the smallest rounder that I have, so that I just have a little bit of an ease on there. And then I'm going to ink. So I'm going to ink all of my outside edges, my flats, my folds, and all of my outside. I'm going to ink all of my pieces that I've cut. And I'm going to be inking my tag, but I can't do that until I finish this up. So I'm going to ink all of this, the whole thing, and then I'll be back. All right? See you in a minute. Okay, so all of my pieces are now inked, okay? Except for this line, but that's because this is going to get closed. So I've inked inside and outside, front, back, all the way around. So we're going to get started with putting in our pieces, and that's these first, because these are the ones that, you know, they have to be hidden. I'm going to go ahead and use tape on this just so we can kind of move a little quicker. Now, when you're doing this, make sure that you keep that line, okay? You want your tops to be as even as possible. Okay? Because if they're really off center, it's going to show, and you don't want that. Okay, so I did ink up a small piece that I'm going to be putting right here, just to add a little something over here, because it just looked a little naked to me. So I'm going to put this right here, and I want to make sure that I keep that same, you know, stretch across. There we go. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and glue these up. And to glue these up, all I'm going to do is put a very small line of glue along the outer edge here and along this edge here. So these are going to be open pockets. And then we're going to go ahead and put our pieces on here. Again, we're going to mind that line going across here. And then I'm going to close up this pocket, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue across the bottom and up this outside. And then I'm just going to fold this over. Press this down. All right. And then we're going to put this piece on. Right, now I'm going to flip the whole thing over, and then we're going to start putting these on. Let me get the glue closed up real quick. this one. And then we'll get the last one on. And then it's all to decorating. All right. Put some tape across the bottom here. All righty. These press on. All right. So now this folds up and this part folds over. All right. So next part is going to be cutting a tag to go here and then doing some decorating. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I have a scrap of paper that matches. And remember, we put glue in here. So even though this is 3 inches, I'm going to start at 2.5. Okay? So let's start at 2.5. And let's give that a try. And 2.5 moves nicely. Okay, and we know that this is 4 inches tall. So if I want it to be inside the pocket, I'm going to cut it at 4 inches. And I have glue at the bottom, so 3 3/4. If I want it to stick out, then I'll keep it at the 4. But if I want it to like tuck in, 3 3/4. Okay. And that's just my starting point. I may decide to cut it down a little bit more, but 3 3/4 seems to fit quite nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and round the corners on this. And that just helps it move a little easier in and out of there. Okay. And it's not very thick, so I'm going to back it on some just some white paper. So I'm going to cut a piece of white paper at 2.5. By 3 3/4. Let's check. A little bit more off the top here. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to stick these two together. Round my corners. All right, so now I have a tag that you can journal on the back of it. Let's see. I kind of like this. There's really nothing in the pad as far as like journaling cards or anything like that. So we're gonna have to do our own. So I'm gonna cut this. It's about a 1/2 inch strip, and I'm gonna cut it at 3 3/4. Just gonna straighten that out. There we go. I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to add this onto my card. ink up my card, front and back. Right. And then let's see if there's anything in here that we want to use. These are cute. I think I'm going to use him. I'm going to put him right there in the corner. And then I need to put a little bit of a pull on this. So, let's see. I don't want to use that because I'm using that to decorate. So, let's go ahead and grab a piece of this. Got a little bit of a white edge on it there, so I'm just gonna shave that off. And then give myself 1 inch. I'm gonna fold that in half. Ooh, a stubborn paper. Ink. And we're going to put a little bit of glue on here. Yes, we will if my glue bottle wants to help, you know. If it wants to work. Little glue there, little glue there. Just barely going to have that sticking up. Okay. It's not quite even, but that'll work. All right. So I'm going to put this in the pocket. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. And then we're going to work on some little journaling cards to go in here and some decoration for the front. All right, so I'm done. I went ahead and finished up the decoration and everything. Let's take a look at this one again. So on this one, we had a little pom-pom, and when you open it up, you've got all your little mermaid tags and unicorn tags in here, and you know, your rainbows and things like that. And this one's kind of cute, and we made it in pink because, you know, they're mermaids. And then I just closed the whole thing up with this little pom-pom paper clip because I thought it worked, you know. And then there's this one. So this is the one we did, and I kind of debated the small paper clip versus the little, you know, the bigger one, but in the end, this is the one that worked. And so we went ahead and we put this little, these are kind of felty little characters on the front here. Not really where I was going with this when we started, but you know what? You let it take it where you go. And then it had some little paw prints, and you open it up, and I got some little, you know, safari grass here. Over here is our little card we made with a little snake on it. And then these are Project Life cards. Somebody sent me some jungle themed ones, like zoo, I think it was, zoo themes. Yeah, because I think one of these actually says day at the zoo or something. But they sent them to me, and I have a whole box of them. I have a few. I don't know why, but yeah, when you do swaps, people like to send those. So I have quite a few Project Life cards, and we're going to do some crafting with those, I think. So that's it. That's what I have for you. What a fantastic little thing. You can put this in a journal. You can send this to somebody as happy mail and, put some ephemera inside of it. Whatever you want to do, entirely up to you. But this is my little project for today. As always, all of the measurements are going to be in the description box below. And if you have any questions, just put it in the comments and I'll be happy to get back to you. Alrighty, that's it. Listen, if you're new here, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that red button for me and subscribe. Like me, ring my bell, share me with all your friends. Then your friends can be my friends, and my friends can be your friends, and our friends can get to be friends. Before you know it, we have a giant crafting community. I go live on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 11, 12, 1 across the country, and 8 in Hawaii. I post videos on Mondays and Wednesdays. I am currently doing my 12 of 22 journal challenge. That is a monthly topic, theme, or style. Let's see. No smaller than 4x6, no larger than 6x9, no less than 3 signature pages, no more than 7 signature pages. You cannot do them all at once. You have to do one per month. The theme style gets announced on the 1st of the month. And you have until the 3rd of the following month to submit photographs either directly to my email, which is in the description below, or to my Facebook group, which is also in the description below. And we'll post some pictures, just 1 or 2 pictures that, just shows that you did the project. And I will put your name on my list. And at the end of the year, I will draw I'm going to draw some prizes. Not so much for, who did it best, but more like for, who did it, period. Participation, that's what we're working on here. Also, in 2022, I'm going to be starting some free classes. We just finished up the little golden book, and we're going to be moving into other things. There's going to be other journals that we make and other types of projects. So, join us. Those videos get released on Saturday mornings, and then I go live on Saturday afternoon to answer any questions that you may have. That's it. That's all I have for you until I see you again. Stay safe. Bye-bye.